Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. It's Monday, a new week, and I know it is Blue Monday, the saddest day of the year. That's how it's called, Blue Monday. It is what it is, but I have a really beautiful surprise for you to give you again a big smile, because this afternoon there should be a second video on the channel, so don't forget to put your notification ring on because we have a special guest, the comeback of Romeo Agresti, and we have a lot of things to speak about with Romeo. The first part of the season, assessing it with his first game or his best game, his favorite player of the first part of the season, but then of course transfer market, because as we speak no new faces join Juventus. What about Henderson? What about Djalo? What about also Bernardeschi, players that we will speak about later in today's video when we will cover the transfer market session. But of course we have to speak about important thing, and that's why I'm asking you maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because we start from Sassuolo Juve to Juve Sassuolo, because we finally play tomorrow. I couldn't wait a weekend without Juventus, especially when it's not international break. It's a really sad weekend, not only a Blue Monday, but it was a blue weekend. So luckily we are playing tomorrow and I can't wait. A lot of things change from that Sassuolo Juve to Juve Sassuolo, with Juventus not losing anymore. You know it, the only loss this season was against Sassuolo, a game that I'm still pissed off. We have our chance tomorrow to redeem ourselves, way of playing, but also continuing to win. Tomorrow we have to win because we have important things at stake, you know it. Plus 16 over the fifth one and go back at -2 of Inter, which is super important because they won 5-1 and they not only won, but they destroyed Monza, sending a new sign to Serie A saying we don't care about all the polemics, we are there. So Juventus has a lot of work to do tomorrow, winning, and luckily a lot of things changed from one game to another. We were able to avoid horrible mistakes as we did in that game against Sassuolo. Do you remember the mistakes of Gatti? Do you remember the huge mistake of Szczesny? Well, speaking about from Sassuolo Juve to Juve Sassuolo, Szczesny since that game was nearly, because nobody is perfect, but nearly perfect. You know, Tuttosport today is writing from Sassuolo al Sassuolo, from Sassuolo to Sassuolo, Szczesny deserves a 7+, not only for his performance, the rating, but also because of the points that he brought on Juventus on top of what we did. Because the victories of Milan, Napoli, Frosinone, there is somewhere the signature of Szczesny, but also in the ugliest game played so far this season against Atalanta, that draw, also there in the last minute he was able to save a fantastic beautiful free kick of, if I'm not wrong, Muriel. So Szczesny is now discussing with Juventus to extend his contract. I hope if he does, lowering also his salary, because he really wants to continue his journey with Juve, which I would be extremely happy about. But today I want to continue to read you, because yesterday I already read a lot of your opinion about Henderson, why you didn't want the English guy to Juventus for 6 or 18 months, but now I want to read about Szczesny. Do we continue with Szczesny, or is there another goalkeeper that you have in mind for next season? I tell you, I would continue without any problem with Szczesny. Now, there is also another one that changed, because in the beginning of the season, especially in the first game, we already saw his debut, but it was not the same player as today. Today we are speaking about the netted value. We are speaking about Kenan Yildiz, that since played 329 minutes in Serie A and Coppa Italia, combined already 3 goals for the young Turkish star, 1 goal every 110 minutes for Kenan. He already started 3 games, and tomorrow he has the opportunity to possibly start his 4th game. You will tell me, Beppe, what do you mean? Who is not playing tomorrow in the strikers? Well, good news, Chiesa started already to train completely with the team, and he would probably be called up for the game of tomorrow, but not sure that he will start. Good thing is that he's ready to enter in the second half, and we will need him, because I don't know if you remember, but his last open goal score, or his last time that he scored from open goal, was against Sassuolo in that disaster game, in that disaster loss, but Federico didn't play bad at all in that game. Well, hopefully he can enter tomorrow, and if we need it, he can be the one that scored that goal, maybe the winning goal, which would be extremely important for him, because we need him at 100% physically, but also mentally, but also for Juventus, because tomorrow, I tell you, we have to be in our stadium, and at the triple whistle, we need to go with the 3 points. So super important that Kenan is ready. Also, Chiesa will be there. What about Rabiot? Well, Rabiot will start today, only today, to train completely with the team. Good news, he has possibility to be called up. Not sure if he will or not. Not sure if he will start or not. Without Weston McKennie, it could potentially be a problem. So having him on the bench would be really, really important. Otherwise, I have no idea how our midfield will look like. Will it be a Cambiaso as a mezzala? Will we see Nicolussi with Locatelli changing position? Not sure, especially because of the changes of Locatelli, especially from the first part of the season until today, where we saw his continuing growth in that role. So a lot of questions that we will have the right to speak later with Romeo after the press conference of Max Allegri. Let's see who will be there, who will not be there. Anyway, important, I already told you, because yesterday there was a game between Milan and Roma, and Corriere dello Sport is speaking about Mu vede nero. Mu is seeing only darkness. He doesn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yesterday, Roma, really pathetic performance, really bad performance for a team like Roma. I hoped yesterday they could possibly do a result against Milan, even if I was not really hoping for it, because Roma, they are not playing well. They are absolutely not playing well, and yesterday deservedly Milan won 3-1 with a fantastic, beautiful goal of Theo Hernandez. Pay attention to Milan, that at the moment is again at -4 from Juve, so they are again back in the run. And Giroud said it, we are playing our game. We are back in the Milan that we started the season with, and you never know. If Inter or Juve, they are doing some mistakes, we are ready to jump at the second spot, at the first spot. So also tomorrow, the game against Sassuolo will be an important one, to not see Milan coming back and chasing you and putting some pressure, because at the moment there is no pressure from the back, but it could be one game change everything. So pay attention, and we know it. Pioli is doing much better after that mini cycle of 2 points in only 4 games in Serie A. They are doing much better. They're recuperating their players like Giroud, like Theo Hernandez. Not yet a Leao at 100%, so they have still margin to grow. But the Roma, that is doing a disaster, and they are even taking into their mind thinking about the possibility to sack Jose Mourinho. Why am I kind of sad? Not because of Roma, because I don't care, not about Jose Mourinho, because I don't care, but actually because of Dean Huijsen, that went there, especially on request of Jose Mourinho, that is starting to play him 3 games. He played already 3 times, entering twice from the bench, a start in Coppa Italia, we all remember it, causing that penalty that saw the team of Maurizio Sarri winning. Well, it could be a problem, because I don't know who will be potentially the new coach of Roma. Will he have also the same regard towards our center-back that needs some playing time? I hope it will be still a lot of opportunities for Dean Huijsen with or without Jose, because otherwise it makes totally no sense. From the bench of Juve to the bench of Roma, that will be a problem. Yesterday in Serie A and the day before, some games were played. Torino, Genoa 0-0, 10 times that they are doing a clean sheet for the team of Juric. Napoli, they won in the last minutes 2-1. It's still not the Napoli of last season. I don't know if they will ever be the Napoli of last season, but anyway, in the moment they are climbing up the ranking, because yesterday they won 2-1 in the last minutes at the 94th, which will bring them 3 points, vital, crucial points of the team of Mazzarri. Battle Verona Empoli for the bottom part of the ranking with a 2-1 victory of Verona. Monza, we know it, we already spoke about it, totally destroyed by Inter. And Lazio with Felipe Anderson. Felipe Anderson that yesterday played as a second striker, winning that game by himself with a 1-0. Felipe Anderson is a target of Juventus for next season. I don't know if you reconsider your idea about Felipe Anderson to Juve as a sub, not of course as a starter. Can he be the one that is actually making our team in terms of quantity bigger? Because next season, if everything goes like it's going now, well, we'll play 2 competition. Another important game was Fiorentina that did 2-2 against Udinese. Super important. For what reason? Because Bologna yesterday lost, the team of Thiago Motta that we were praising a lot, that I was putting myself a bit there, saying, hey, I told you about Thiago Motta. Since that day, well, he continues to lose. If I'm not wrong, 3rd loss in 4 last game for Bologna, that are out of the top 4, with Lazio going over them, and they are even putting danger and pressure on Fiorentina, that is still 4th at the moment with 34. I told you, winning today, we have the opportunity to go at plus 16, which is super important. Diavolo ci sei. Djalo, the Devils of Milan, you are there, is the title of Gazzetta dello Sport, with the words of Giroud that I told you. He said yesterday, you never know. If Inter or Juve are starting to lose points, we will be there. Now we go towards the transfer market session with Tutto Sport that is speaking about Henderson, that yesterday we already spoke about it. Henderson, no. Cope Manners, yes. Why that title? Yesterday I told you, I informed you about the possible contacts with Juventus management and the entourage of Henderson. Henderson that really wants to leave Saudi Arabia after 6 months. He wants to come back in Europe. He wants to play. He wants to have a chance to play Euro 2024 with the team of Southgate UK or England. Now there are some difficulties. Yesterday I told you immediately, I'm not a fan of Henderson coming to Juve. I'm not a fan of players that want to come for individual objective, like for example Calvin Phillips. And I'm happy that Allegri is thinking exactly the same. No, I don't want Calvin Phillips. No, I don't want Henderson. For what reason? Because we are looking for keeping that harmony, that unity between Juventus. We don't want players that are not playing, for example, with Manchester City or come from Saudi Arabia with less competitivity since the last 6 months, coming to Juve pretending to play for their own objective to play in the Euro 2024. We want to keep it. Do we want a midfielder? Yes, we want to. One, that is economical, and two, also that is bringing an added value to Juve. Yesterday I was reading a lot of comments of you, and I agree with a lot that said we don't want Henderson. One of the most beautiful comments was, we don't want him because Juventus is lacking two things. We want to keep that harmony, one. And two, we're also looking for creative, offensive midfielder. Henderson is not a creative and offensive midfielder. And two, he will pretend to play disturbing, possibly. We don't know. He's also taking some cautious when writing the message. Probably he will want to play, and maybe that can cause some problems in the locker room. And I really adore that one, that specific message. Why? Because it was one that was really trying with a rationality to observe and to comment why he didn't want Henderson. On the other side, I read also a lot of comments that were, according to me, a bit nonsense, because I saw a lot of people comparing Henderson to Ramsey, saying, for a few difference, it makes no sense because it's a Ramsey 2.0. No, we are not there. Ramsey was signed, if I'm not wrong, for 4 seasons on a free, yes, but with 8 million euro salary, which was immense. Here we are speaking about a loan of 6 months with an option for 1 more year that Juventus don't even want. They want only 6 months for a salary of 2 million euro. So we are not speaking about the same length. We are not speaking about a prospect. We are not speaking about a huge salary. So no, and also with all the respect, we are not speaking about the same role. We are not speaking about the same players. We are speaking about one that went to Arsenal that never won anything. And then we are speaking about the captain that lifted the Champions League in the air. Now, do I want Henderson? I don't want to. And the good news for the people that were following the channel, Juventus stopped the negotiation for 2 things. Because the closest one to Henderson is Ajax and not Juve, and also because we are reading today in the English media that Henderson will stay and probably have a lot of chances to stay in Saudi, because they don't want to release the player, not even to sell him, not going on loan. For what reason? Because with the massive way of going on the market, signing a lot of big names to reinforce the Saudi league, well, they don't want after 6 months the first champions to leave, because that would be, in a way, kind of humiliating for the Saudi Arabia league. Also paying attention for the new transfer market session in the summer, where they want to attract even more instead of starting to lose some, like Henderson, opening the door for maybe Benzema to leave or other players that want to come back in Europe. So that's why it will be extremely difficult. The good thing is Henderson will probably not come to Juve. We spoke about Cope Manners. Well, Juventus said if we don't find the one that is adding some value to Juve immediately on loan, so cheap midfielder at the moment, well, we stay as we are, because we want a big target. And if it's not possible to have him in the winter, we try to go for it in the summer, with some names like Samardzic, with a big, huge objective to not let him go immediately to Napoli, to keep him, park him, maybe for the summer, but also another name that is Cope Manners. Physical, understand the language, understand Serie A, is a one that can give you that last pass, is one that is also able to score goals, so he's actually having all the kind of Rabiot role, but this time playing a bit more on the right side in that midfield. We don't know yet if Rabiot will extend or not, so he's and a replacement to Rabiot. And if Rabiot extend, well, 2 players can be compatible. And Cope Manor is the real big target of Juventus for next summer, not immediately. Of course, if we are able to put cash on the table. One that will arrive on Wednesday is Djalo. He will do his medicals with Juve on Wednesday, and I can't wait to have him, because that's also there an anticipation. We beat the run because everything was done with Inter. That's a beautiful one. I'm super happy for him, even if I don't have a lot of expectation for these 6 months, because we know it at the moment. He's not even able to play because he's coming from an ACL, starting to touch the ball, but absolutely not at the moment ready to play some games. So it's one that is not exciting all the Juventini because of that injury, but I can tell you that in perspective, in the future, signature. It's actually a really beautiful signature from Juve. I told you about Bernardeschi. Well, Bernardeschi is still waiting with Moiskin that could possibly go on loan to Fiorentina, even if he's waiting for a possible call-up from Premier League. If he goes to Premier League, I would be even more happy because that we cash in. If he goes on loan, I would not be that happy because I think that we need offensive players. You never know, huh? Another injury for one of our strikers, and we have a problem there because we are not enough to continue the part of our second round of Serie A. Well, Bernardeschi could be an option or really cheap for 6 months. I don't want to give too much my opinion about it. I already spoke about it, but I'm really curious what Romeo Agresti will tell me about Bernardeschi later today. So if you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like, continue to subscribe. Thank you for being patient with me. Was really difficult to speak because I don't know if you hear it, but my neighbors are still continuing to do works and I have no idea when they will finish. So keeping focus and speaking is a disaster. So thank you for the patience. Thank you for everything. Grazie, forza, Juve.